And I think it's so cool that you've accepted the fact that, like, because I tell people all the time, look, you're not worth, I mean, I'm not talking about you, but I tell a lot of other people, like, you're not worth 100,000 yet. You're not worth 500,000 yet. You're not worth $1 million yet. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're not like a worthy person or anything, or you're dumb or something like that, or I'm better than you. It just means that your mindset has not, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's so many people out there that if they just change their mindset, they could become worth so much more. What do you think about that? Does that make sense?
It makes 100% sense, because I always think if I thought like you, if I thought like Chris, I already be there. So obviously my mindset is not there yet. So that's why I'm not earning $1 million yet. So thinking about the income that I make now versus me making, 5 years ago, I wasn't even making 100,000. It makes me sick to my stomach to think that I thought I was worthy of 350, because I wasn't getting better. I wasn't, the mindset that I have now. So I think that if people all the time ask me like, okay, what has changed, between then and now? Because I've been in business 10 years, so I'm not an overnight success. And what has changed is my mentality. I know people want a different answer. They want the secret. They want what presentation I'm using, but that's not it. It's just a mindset.
So give me a couple of examples, like the mistakes that you made before and that switch in mindset. Give me a couple examples of that.
For example, one of the things that I do now, anytime I have a negative thought, I replace it with a positive thought. Or before, I would let a negative thought ponder in my mind and let it grow. And is adding like fuel to the fire, and it worsen the situation. I always tell our team, it's not what happens to you that matters, it's how you react that really matters. And that's one of the biggest examples I can think of.
And so because you're recruiting a lot of people right now, you're bringing a lot of people in your business more than ever. Your production is through the roof right now. So tell me, like, what are some of the mistakes that you see that people are making, like the newer people or even people that have been around a little while? What are some of the mistakes they're making?
I think they beat themselves up too much. Obviously we're our worst critics, right? But it's okay to be critical of yourself, because you should recognize where you're at, but not dwell on that. I always tell our team, look, we're like a machine. And if it's like a computer, if you ask the computer what's wrong, it's going to look for all the things that's wrong. So I always tell our team, don't ask yourself what's wrong with you. Ask yourself, how can you get better? So I think the quality of questions you ask yourselves has a lot to do with it. And I think that early on, one of the biggest mistakes, I would always think like, what's wrong with me? Like, it's me. I mean, it is me, but I was asking the wrong question. So then my brain was looking for things that were wrong with me. So I would acknowledge those things instead of what can I get better? What can I improve on? What could I have done differently?
Like what's the solution? Instead of looking for the problem, like, what's the solution? How do I get better? How do I make this situation like I want it to be, versus, going in the negative direction, like, of course, 99% of the people do. And so, I mean, was there, like, looking back, what are some of those dark moments? We all have them. I remember, driving home one night and it was raining and I didn't close, and I was just like thinking, what am I doing? Am I wasting my time? Am I good enough for this? Can I ever get great at this thing? And I had those fears and I had those doubts. Tell us a little bit about maybe some of the dark moments in your life and some challenges that you had growing in business and how you overcame them.
I remember when I was a brand new RVP, you get excited. You're like, man, this is exactly what I've been praying for. And we had 3 regional leader teams quit and a division team quit all at the same time. I was charged back about $5,000. I was so embarrassed because I was thinking, okay, in my mind, as an RVP, minimum, you should make it 100,000. So being in that dark moment, I remember not letting my team see it, but I would come home and cry to Max. I'm like, man, like, is this really happening? Like, wait, like, this is not what's supposed to happen. And so then I decided, I said, you know what? I said, okay, if they're not part of our team, that means they were never really part of us. I just got to get better as a leader. So I remember gathering some people up. I said, you know what, let's go prospecting. Let's go meet new people, right? So we had gone to go meet new people. And when I was there, my upline, Miguel, called me. And he called me and he's like, hey, champ, like, is everything okay? I see you haven't made any money. And in my mind, I was like, I know I'm not making any money. Stop reminding me. Like, I was just trying to get out of this mindset, right? But he didn't know this, right? He was just being a good leader and asking, like, if there's any way he can help. So I said, you know what? I got this. So then I hung up and I told the girls, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into this store and, meet someone. But the reality is that I wanted to get away from them because I just started bawling, like crying. I was like, God, I'm like, please, like, tell me something. I'm not about signs, but I'm like, God, I need something. I need confirmation. This is where you want me to be. And literally, as I got up to wipe my tears off my face, I hear the song playing, and it was Don't Worry About a Thing, Everything's Gonna Be All Right. And I just started bawling of happiness. And I was like, thank you, God. Like, okay, everything's gonna be okay. I'm like, sometimes the worst thing that happened to us is the best thing that happens to us.
God, you just gave me like the chills on my neck right now when you said that.
I remember like it was yesterday.
Oh my God, you are so inspiring. Hey, look, I know you're recruiting a lot of women right now, man. I mean, how important is it? Like how awesome are women in financial services? I mean, they freaking kick ass, man. They're pretty awesome. So tell me about how you're recruiting all these women and, what your focus is right now.
Okay, so I remember when I first joined Primerica, which was 10 years ago, under Chris Howard, it was the office was dominated by male. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm 22, I look like I'm 13, I'm a woman. I'm like, I don't know if I fit in this office. And I remember Miguel would always work on my mind. He's like, no, Vanessa. He's like, I don't care if you look 12. I don't care if you're a girl. I don't care. When you open your mouth, you need to know that you mean business. I'm like, okay. So I worked on me being confident that no matter what I look like, that as soon as I open my mouth, that the person across from me knew I meant business. So then, okay, I started succeeding, becoming one of the women in our office. And then I started recruiting a bunch of women. And the reason why I think women are important in our business is because we're more emotional. We're more connected as far as we can talk to the wife or even to a husband, like saying, hey, look, it's okay. I'm a mom too. I'm a wife. I do everything plus this. I remember when I was pregnant with my first child, because I have two little ones. I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I never use them as the excuse why I'm not winning. I'm using them as the reason why I am winning. But when I was pregnant, I was 8 months pregnant. This is the most I ever wrote in personal premium. I wrote about $17,000 in personal premium. But that's not including all the policies I split with people that were licensed. So in reality, I wrote $24,000 in personal premium and 8 months pregnant. And people are like, how did you do it? I'm like, I wasn't pregnant. That not a disability, is a blessing. I'm not sick. I need to work harder because there's a baby coming out. And so I feel like because I did it first, then I can talk about it to another woman. Because, imagine if there's a woman in our team and they're having a baby and they're using that as an excuse, then I can be like, guess what? Nope. I had a baby too. I was pregnant and I still went on appointments, and it's just awesome. I feel like if you do it first, then you'll attract other people. John Maxwell always says, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are.
Love that. Oh man, that's so incredible. I mean, you are an inspiration to so many women right now. I mean, tens of thousands of women, they got their eyeballs on you and they're watching you. Do you feel a little bit of pressure? Like, do you feel a little bit of like, man, I got to keep going. I got to keep this thing moving. I mean, what does that feel like?
Well, Miguel has always taught me how to work under pressure,
okay,
which is good. Before this business, I was never in sports. I never knew what coaching was. I didn't like people telling me what to do, but I'm so grateful for Miguel and Susie because they taught me how to be mentally tough. So I feel like if I don't give any excuses, then I won't take any excuses. So yes, it does feel pressure because I know that other women are looking at me, but it's an honor. I feel so incredibly blessed. Like, wow, like me, somebody that grew up with nothing, that sometimes I didn't even have money to eat. Like, I mean, it's like literally I pinch myself and like, God, this is my life. Like, this is wow. Like, I feel so grateful. And I read in a book, the way you help the poor is that you were poor and you become rich, and then you teach them how to become rich. It's not giving them money. Not that you don't give them money, because you do, but what I'm trying to say, that's the true way to helping somebody, is finding somebody else like me, broken home, big family, no money, grew up like in the ghetto, and telling them, hey, I grew up just like you. Give me your hand. Let me help you. Let me show you how to get there. So I feel honored that people look up to me.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.